I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and this week we're going to be in the kitchen at Cafe Tempo on the campus of Johnson County Community College. We've returned for spring with Executive Chef Tim Johnson. Going to make something very appropriate for the month of March: shepherd's pie, Irish soda bread, and Bailey's cheesecake. But before we go in the kitchen and cook, let's talk a little bit about the kind of cooking that we all should be doing in the springtime.
You know, the spring is eternal.
It is, and so, we're looking forward to it.
Especially after this last winter, I think everyone is ready for it. But, springtime is a time to start thinking about cleansing because we're in the middle of Lent, and so that's part of it going on. And so you start thinking about eating healthy again. After putting on the pounds during the holidays and the winter months trying to keep warm, spring, you're wanting to shred that, and you want to kind of purify your body, your mind, and your soul. And so you start looking for those wonderful vegetables that are starting to pop up. And so they're starting to think about the healthy thing, the power foods, green foods. We'll start having spinach and baby lettuces and Easter radishes, green onions. A lot of different things will start popping up every week. And that's kind of what, eating, locally is all about. There's something new every week that you're going to get.
Okay, so be mindful of what is in season, what is growing now, and incorporate that into your cooking.
And cook light.
And cook light.
You want to look good in your bathing suit, right?
Yes, you do. And so cooking light and right is a way to do that. So you've got some exciting things coming up here. You're about to take off to go to...
I'm going to Ames, Iowa, Iowa State University. I'm the culinary chair for NACUFS. We have a culinary competition every year.
So a chance for chefs who are in educational institutions to come together?
Yeah, most of them are sous chefs or, first cooks, and a couple of the executive chefs do it every once in a while. But they all are part of the dining services on a college campus.
And speaking of educational institutions, your work here is more than a typical executive chef. You're also part of the culinary program. Talk a little bit about your role as teacher.
Well, I'm more associated with the culinary program because I am a host chef that I will take on interns and be their mentor for, usually it's for 3 years if they're good, if I don't kick them out on the street.
So you're maintaining a standard for how they are to behave and the level of professionalism that they exhibit in the kitchen.
And over the 3-year time period, you start them off slow, with basic knife skills, and then you let them out of the bag for a while and let them start doing trays and then dishes and then menu planning. And the best thing, they do your inventory for you all the time.
They're really an executive chef runs a kitchen, and so this experience, it isn't just about the cooking skills, but it's about managing a kitchen. We know that they're learning in their program, but this is on-the-job training.
This is real-life training.
It's real-life training. It's what makes it happen. And the executive chefs that I talk to in the series say, yep, you got to go to school, you got to be trained, but your career is so dependent upon working with fabulous chefs once you're on your way. And you're that for many of the students here, and were when you were executive chef in other places. So, and let's refresh our memories. You were trained at
New England Culinary Institute in Montpelier, Vermont. And that was way back in 1987.
You must be old. Teasing.
But I look young.
Yes, you do. My memory, of course, is you as executive chef at the Webster House. Before that, Seabury Gallery. So you've been cooking wonderful food for us in Kansas City for many years. We appreciate all that you've done for us. Let's talk now, proof in the pudding. Let's talk to one of your interns and also to learn about what it is. I'm asked frequently, well, I'd like to become an executive chef. How do I do that? And we know that education is important. Let's talk to someone who's going through the process now. Who are we going to be talking to?
This is my second-year intern, Myla Baez Christie.
Okay, let's talk to Myla. We're continuing our chat with the chef here at Johnson County Community College. We've just been talking with our executive chef, Tim Johnson, and now we're going to talk with one of his students, his intern, Mila from Brazil.
Yes.
And so did you come here to Kansas City to be in this program?
Yes, I did.
How did you hear about the culinary school
Well,
here?
I started just study English, and then I learned more about the program, and I decided to enroll.
You just like, do you obviously love cooking?
I love cooking,
You
yes.
love cooking. Well, frequently I have people ask me, I think I want to be an executive chef. What do I do? And my advice is you need to go to school and
Yes.
get trained. Let's talk about what that is like. I hear the hours are long.
Yes, besides being a full-time student, you have to be a full-time student. You have to work weekends, 35 to 40 hours a week. So it's
In
very hard.
addition to being a full-time
Yes.
student, you're really doing full-time work.
Yes, that's true.
So you're getting the training in a classroom, or in this case in a kitchen, and then you're also working. You're
Yes.
on the job.
Yes.
So let's talk about a day in the life of you, a student. What does that look like?
It's very crazy.
It's very crazy. Well, and then you have Tim to work
Yes.
with, so there you go. It finishes it all. But a day in the life.
Okay, say on Monday I have classes. My classes start 8 in the morning and finish 9:30 at night. And then I have to be in the kitchen the next day at 8 o'clock. So
Long days.
Yes.
Is your training like one segment is pastry, another is working with meats? How do you do that?
Yeah, so we start with the basic, the first semester is the basic class, like cooking one. And then you learn the cuts, you learn how to, vegetables, poultry, and then you go, first semester you go. And the classes are getting very hard.
And what is your favorite thing to cook?
I love doing desserts.
Well,
Yeah.
we're about to taste some of that. You love desserts.
I love them.
So when do you begin working? After a year of school?
No,
or-
you start working, you have to start working the first semester of classes.
So you're just throwing,
Yes,
you go
yes,
for it right in
yes.
the very beginning.
Yes.
And did you always know that you wanted to be a chef from the time you were little, or did you?
I always wanted, but my country wasn't available at the time.
Oh.
So I had opportunity to come here, and then I love it.
Okay. Oh, good. Well, obviously we're pleased to have you here. What advice would you give to a person wanting to become a chef? What's it really like?
First, you should go and work in the kitchen for 3 months. If they can survive that, they are ready.
Survival rate.
Yes.
All right, because I think that our understanding of chef is, an exciting TV Iron Chef,
No,
or
it's not like that.
I
like
know
that.
it's hot. You're on your feet a lot. You're lifting some very large equipment and pots and pans. So your recommendation is, if you believe this is what you want to do, and this isn't to discourage anyone,
No.
but this is what it's really like.
Yes.
What happens in a commercial kitchen is what it's like. So your recommendation is first go into a commercial kitchen.
And work for 3 months, at least 3 months.
At least 3
Yes.
months. And then once you have done that, then you're in the best
Enroll in the class, yes.
Then you're in the
Enroll in
best
classes,
position,
yes.
because this is a commitment.
Yes.
I mean, it's 3 years of
Classes
education
and training, yes.
and training and on the job work. What other advice would you have? How do you pace yourself? This is a very intense program.
It's
How do
just you have to like what you're doing. It's not a reason.
passion.
Yes.
It's the passion.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So the passion keeps you going. What about the learning process? What works for you? What works for you most in developing a skill? From knife skills, is it just practice?
It's practice.
It's practice.
It's an everyday thing. You have to practice every day. Be in the kitchen every day and learn from the other chefs there in the kitchen with you. So
Be it mixing a roux, which we're
Everything.
going to do when
Yes,
we go
yes.
into the kitchen, to
and ask questions, and that is important. If you don't know something, you have to ask.
Don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah.
But really, it's about practicing. It's a skill,
Yes.
and it's just practicing. Is there anything else that you would like to add about being a student and pursuing this career the way you're?
This is a wonderful career. It's a wonderful career, and I have amazing instructors and an amazing mentor that is very patient with me. So I really enjoy it.
You really enjoy it. Okay, well, thank you. Good luck to you. You are off to a brilliant start.
Thanks.
From here, you and Chef and I think, should go into the kitchen and make that shepherd's pie, soda bread, and Bailey's cheesecake. I think that you should come with us. Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and we are in the kitchen this week at Cafe Tempo on the campus of Johnson County Community College with their executive chef, Tim Johnson. Again, thank you for inviting us into your kitchen. Chef, it's March. It's St. Patrick's Day this month. It's spring. What are we cooking?
Well, today we're going to do an old Irish dish. It's called lamb shepherd pie. And this dish, basically originated out on the farm or, in the city someplace where the family got together and had a roast for Sunday. And there's usually some type of leftover meat or mashed potatoes or something like that. And so the grandma or the patriarch of the family put together this lovely, rustic, really heartwarming dish, for the family to enjoy in the middle of the week.
Have you noticed that many of our favorite foods or our comfort foods really began as a way of making do or what we consider peasant food? And this probably falls in that category.
Well, one of the best attributes of a chef is his ability or her ability to go into the refrigerator or the cabinet and put something together.
I know we began with mise en place. So what is our mise en place, chef?
Well, we had our Sunday dinner and we have our leftover mashed potatoes that we're going to kick them up a little bit with some cream and egg and sour cream and some seasoning, and then we're going to top it with some Irish cheddar so that we have a nice caramelization, kind of a rich, colorful look on the top of the pie.
So we're using our leftover mashed potatoes as, if you will, the crust for the pie. And what do we have over here that's going inside the pie?
Well, this is very simple. We're going to have some onions, celery, carrots, and peas, and then we'll have some beef broth. And then we also have Worcestershire sauce.
Which you could get off the shelf if you don't have it made your own stock.
All these things, everything can be bought at the store, and you might even have it in your own pantry. Then basic staples of garlic, salt and pepper, a little olive oil. And then we have our sour cream and some more canola oil for cooking. And then the flour, our eggs. And then I got some little fun things, some spinach and green onions that I'm going to use for garnish. And then we also have some olive oil and rice wine vinegar. And then, of course, we have Guinness.
I guess that's our pairing.
That's our pairing at school, not at home.
Right. Okay, so where do we begin, Chef?
Well, what we're going to do, you're going to take your leftover mashed potatoes, or you can start from scratch and make regular mashed potatoes. But for this purpose today, we're going to just put some in a pan.
It looks as though you leave the skin on when you're making mashed potato.
Of course.
Of course, and I hear that a lot of nutrients are in the skin.
Most of the nutrients are in the skin.
Okay.
So
good flavor, good texture, and it's healthy for you. My goodness, we make it all happen.
It's from the earth, that's why, it's a beautiful thing. If you don't have a steamer in your home, you just want to cover with plastic wrap and or put them in a steamer. Plastic wrap, and then put aluminum foil on them and heat them in your oven at about 300 for about 15 minutes. But today we're going to put them in a steamer. Okay?
Because we have that equipment.
I have a steamer.
I know you do. You're bragging. You have a steamer. But the technique that I think that is so interesting We've always been told not to use plastic wrap in the oven, and I'm learning from our chefs in the series that if you keep your oven at 350 or below, that it really does help with the moisture in the dish, and it's perfectly safe to use, especially if you cover it with some aluminum
Some
foil.
aluminum foil, yes.
There you go. Okay, so we've got that warming up.
All right, so now while that's warming up, we're going to start cooking our lamb. And we're going to do it over medium heat. So I got the skillet up and running here.
Now I noticed you warmed the skillet first, and if this had in fact been a leftover from a lamb roast or leg of lamb, then you would have just cubed it.
Just cubed it up.
The leftovers.
And you wouldn't want to saute it too much because then the meat would get overdone. And so you would basically cook your vegetables and make your roux, the gravy mixture, and then put in the pre-cooked meat before you put it into the type of dish that you're going to serve out of.
All right, and so you cubed this and you trimmed off extra fat or whatever.
Well, I instructed someone to cube
Oh,
it
you
for
would,
me.
yes. I think that's where we have the word intern, is who we talked to earlier in the show. Okay, so
So I
it's
put
ready
this in
now.
here. I'm going to
Yes.
put just a little flour
Is this going to help thicken the sauce?
at some point, but this is going to give the meat
Oh, I like a little crusty
a little
thing.
crusty
Yeah,
flavor,
a little crusty
okay?
thing, yeah. And also I noticed that the meat was not wet looking. If you're trying to get some caramelization, you want to begin with the dry meat product, and the flour is just helping to make that happen. Oh, that's great. That's what we want it to look like before it goes in.
I'm just going to season it.
And so, kosher salt.
Kosher salt and black pepper.
Fresh cracked black pepper. So flour, salt, pepper. Using the best cook's tools, your hands. Okay, and now that this has gotten warm, I noticed you put your hand over there. You're wanting it to.
I can tell the temperature of the pan.
And that you use canola oil because this is not a time to be using expensive extra virgin olive oil.
Well, you never want to cook directly with straight, olive oil because it has a lower flash point and it'll burn up quicker. Whereas I like to use a combination of olive oil and canola oil.
Okay.
And one thing when you're sauteing meat, you want to start in anything in a saute pan. You don't want to overload it because then you're not sauteing anymore. You're basically steaming it.
Right. So there's some patience, worth it. So if you don't have a large frying pan or cooked surface, you might do this in 2 or 3 batches.
That's correct.
Okay.
You want to slowly put it in because if you put it in all at the same time, you're also going to drop the temperature of the oil. And then once again, you're going to start having problems.
You'd be proud of me, Chef. I recently made a boeuf bourguignon.
Oh, yum.
And I had to treat my meat, it's chuck, the same way you're treating the lamb. And what a great result. We've learned a lot from you, Chef. Thank you.
Main problems that young cooks or
Impatient cooks.
is they just want to sit and watch their meat cook and then they want to play with it and turn it. You got to let it cook so that it doesn't stick to the pan and so that you get a nice caramelization on the meat.
So leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
Now see, that's what we're going for, is that beautiful color, and we know color means flavor, and we achieve that by leaving it alone and letting it get the caramelization in the pan.
Okay, next we're going to start adding our vegetables.
Okay, so it's caramelized and now it's ready.
We're going to turn the heat down a little bit.
And I notice you're using red onions.
Because that's all the red onion I had. I didn't have a yellow onion.
And that's perfectly fine.
That's fine.
I sort of like the flavor of red onion. Now what's going in? Celery.
Celery.
And then our happy little carrots. That's really just a very basic soup stew combination of onions.
mirepoix.
Yeah, mirepoix.
We'll let this cook for just one more second.
And I noticed that you're wanting to preserve the fresh, bright color of the vegetables, which is why you didn't put it in the very beginning anyway. Right.
Next we're going to put in the garlic. I didn't put it in with the vegetables. Sometimes you don't want to put garlic in too quick because then it'll cook and then it'll burn.
It'll burn,
If you have a
yeah.
smaller cut,
Yeah.
it'll be bitter. I'm going to season it just a touch.
And I notice you're doing it in layers as you go.
Okay. Now we're going to
Now
glaze
you are
the pan.
seriously doing the Guinness now.
I'm going to glaze the pan a little bit with it.
Where another dish might have been wine.
Right.
And so we're deglazing it with Guinness. I mean, this
Then I'm
is...
going to give it to the TV host.
Oh, it smells yummy.
And we're going to put a little Worcestershire.
Okay, and again, deglazing is giving an opportunity for all the bits at the bottom of the pan to come up, and we don't lose a bit of flavor here. So, Worcestershire beef, stock, and of course the Guinness first. Look at
Bring that
that.
to a little bubble.
The roux, the thickening agent for the sauce or
Sauce,
gravy.
uh-huh.
Tell me what we have.
I poured off some of the excess fat
Yes.
from the meat,
Yes.
and then I'm going to add just a little bit of butter.
To sort of round out the fat component for the roux and maintain the flavor of the lamb. And now for the flour. So you're mixing the flour and the butter to get to that wonderful thickening agent. And make sure, because you know, no one wants lumpy gravy or sauce. And by mixing it up right here, right now, we're not going to have that problem. Okay, chef, so you're telling me that the roux is ready when it's starting to pull away.
It's starting to pull away from the side.
From the side. Okay, it is. Now what are we going to add?
Well,
I'm your sous chef at the moment. Yes.
So we're going to bring it up.
Okay.
Keep that stirring.
Keep stirring. An important time. Yeah, we're okay. So this is beef stock, which you can either get off the shelf if you don't happen to have any at home. Okay, chef, so you're telling me that the roux is ready when it's starting to pull away.
It's starting to pull away from the side.
Starting to pull away from the side. Okay, it is. Now what are we going to add? I'm your sous chef at the moment. Yes.
So we're going to bring it up.
Okay.
Keep that stirring.
Keep stirring. An important time. Yeah, we're okay. So this is beef stock, which you can either get off the shelf if you don't happen to have any at home. We finished making the roux. I noticed you added a little more water. You just play with the consistency till you get what you're looking for. And then the vegetables, the garlic, and the lamb have sauteed, and you've gotten the color you want. What's the next step, chef?
I'm going to deglaze the pan one more time.
Okay, more Guinness. And then when you see the bubbles, which we are seeing right now,
Start pouring in our gravy.
here goes the gravy. Beautiful gravy. Again, butter, flour, beef stock, and now you can see it getting thick. Great richness. Still maintaining, you're getting the flavor profile of the Guinness, but truly, if anyone has any issues regarding alcohol, it's burning off, the alcohol is burning off, but you're still enjoying the flavor of Guinness. I will tell you, I tasted the real deal when I was in Ireland, and it is an acquired taste. And what they told me is that for the women, they put some cherry syrup in it because women have a different response to Guinness than men do.
Excellent. Okay.
So the gravy and all the
Lamb
vegetables
mixture.
and lambs be bubbling away a little bit. This has been warming.
It's been warming.
What do we do?
So we're going to get our mashed potatoes in here.
Again, leftover mashed potatoes from the night before, warmed up. Going to be our topping on this shepherd's pie.
And we're going to put in a little butter.
Yes.
And then let that butter melts there. And put
So
some
you're
little sour
using
cream.
separate because you want the butter to melt here with the warmth of the potatoes.
And then also what I'm doing, I'm about ready to crack an egg in here.
Ah.
So we're going to want to mix it.
Okay. So 1 egg into the sour cream. And that's going to give it a little bind
fluffy.
more and
Make it a little fluffy.
okay.
that butter down in there.
And of course, using butter closer to room temperature helps with this process, which is what you did. It loves you. So this is simple enough. The sour cream and egg mixture into our leftover mashed potatoes with some butter. So we have a different consistency now with the mashed potatoes and a different look.
I'm going to season them a little bit more.
Because we've added other product to it.
And then we have some nice aged cheddar here.
And I noticed it's white, meaning no one put any food dyes in it. It's the way it occurred. And so just a grater, rasp, whatever. You want me to stir? Okay. Now, you could do this in a variety of ways. You could do it in a pie dish if you wanted to. And
You could do it for, for a family style and a
Yes,
large one.
yes.
We're doing it in individual little cups.
right.
today.
And all the pieces and parts are ready to go. How do we assemble this thing?
Well, we're going to pull our lamb stew over,
Yes.
and we're going to add the frozen peas.
And we do this at the last minute. We don't cook them on the cooktop with this. They are going to retain their bright green
Keep the
look
bright green
and the flavor.
and the flavor. Then
We've all seen these. Yes,
we want
the
to taste.
tasting
Got to make sure
spoon.
we're good to go here.
Okay, we're going to do that. Oh, amazing. Oh my gosh. One last little bit of salt and pepper.
Do that.
Oh, that is delicious.
And then
Chef.
I'm just going to fold in a little butter. This is called monte au beurre. And it'll give it just a little bit more richness. So go ahead
May I
and
stir?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So notice how you did this at the very end. After tasting, a little salt and pepper, a little more butter, and of course the peas. Now, you're choosing to cook this in ramekins, but you could put it in a big pie or
Right.
casserole.
We're doing a single serving, and you can do this, at a restaurant. But if you're doing it family style,
Yes.
a larger casserole dish will work just as fine.
Okay.
And I want to make sure that I get lots of meat and the veggies in there before I put too much of the broth. We'll kind of finish up the broth.
Nobody is going to go hungry. Okay. Oh, that one felt neglected. I see. Okay. Now for the topping. Oh. Tell you, I would prefer that to a traditional crust any day. You have your mealing one here. Gotten them ready in their little ramekins, and how are we going to finish this off before it goes in the oven?
I'm going to put just a little bit more of
Okay,
the
this
Irish
is that
cheese.
aged Irish white cheddar cheese. And what have we preheated the oven to?
I have it at 450, or if you have a broiler, that's always good to use.
Okay.
Then bring it up.
Okay, Chef, it's out of the oven, and we know we eat with our eyes first. How should we plate this Irish meal?
One last little thing we're going to do
Yes.
is we're going to throw together just a simple little garnish.
So what we have here is fresh spinach.
Fresh
Baby-
spinach.
Is it
You
baby
can use
spinach?
baby spinach. I really like watercress or endive.
Okay.
But we're just putting a little vinegar,
Okay, and what kind of
then
oil?
a little bit of virgin olive oil, not too much.
Now, I imagine this is a pretty rich, heavy dish. Having a little spot of green on top is a
Kinda
great
cleanse
way
the
to
palate.
freshen it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we're just going to toss this little spinach in here.
So we have like a little mini salad. A little mini salad going on.
Now we
Okay.
also have
Yes.
Our Irish soda
Of
bread.
course we do.
Okay. You can bake this at home from the recipe that I gave you, and also to save time, farm to market makes a fabulous Irish soda
owned.
bread. Locally
Yep.
owned.
Locally
So
owned.
we're gonna set that
Plating up.
on there like that.
White, a wonderful white plate, canvas for your artistry.
And then
Oh, how pretty.
just putting the spinach around the corners.
And so
that.
green. Uh-huh.
And we're going to pull.
Please remember these are very, very hot. They just come out of a 450-degree oven or your broiler. Oh, chef.
And then one more little small garnish.
Yep. What's that?
A few green onions on there. And it's time to eat
Beautiful is
and
that.
celebrate.
Oh, chef, thank you so much. We are going to go out to our celebrity taster and get his opinion.
Sounds great.
What would dinner be without dessert? So we're finishing up with the intern that we talked with earlier, Mila. What do we have for dessert and how are we going to plate it?
We have Bailey cheesecake made with the Bailey liquor, and I just use some white chocolate, regular white chocolate. You can melt it and just drizzle in the plate. And
So look at the design that you made, and you did it in a container similar to this too.
yes. And then I just had some caramel. You can buy that in the store, any store, and just make some dots.
So we're decorating the plate, and this is a bit of fun, and I see people, me included, taking a bite of the cake or the pie or whatever the dessert is, and moving it around on, on these flavors.
That is the idea, to move it around, and so you have the taste of the sauce.
And you get to mix how that happens.
Yes.
Yes, you do. Okay. So we have a celebrity taster. I know he's really hungry, but he's still going to have room after his shepherd's pie and soda bread for this dessert. Mila, thank you for helping us with dessert.
It was a pleasure.
Okay, chef, we've prepared shepherd's pie. We're serving it with soda bread. What to drink with this Irish dish?
Now there'll be a couple different selections, but I would say Guinness.
Guinness. Surprise!
Surprise. You know, or heart, or if you like wine,
Yes.
a nice hearty Sangiovese or a Zinfandel, and if you don't like that type of heavy wine, then maybe a lighter Pinot Noir.
Okay, so it needs to stand up to the flavors of the dish.
Yes.
So here's our Guinness, and
Open it, and I want
Yes.
you to have the privilege of pouring it.
you do.
Yes.
Well,
Now, how would you pour a Guinness?
okay. I understand that if something's bubbly, you pour it down the side. Is that
Correct.
true?
Yes.
All right. Not that
Nice-
I'm such an
nice-
expert.
nice
Nice
and
and
slow.
slow. I don't know why they're like that.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's like chocolate milk, huh?
It does look like chocolate milk. All right. This is the
You want to
perfect.
stop right about 3/4 of the way. No,
Because it's
you
gonna
got-
do-
yeah,
no?
It's an art. You got to get the foam right up to the top.
I'm telling you, I learned so much when I cook with you, chef.
It's going to be a test later.
Oh, gosh.
No, this is the test. Sorry.
This is the test. All right, do I stop now?
We'll let you stop there.
Thank you, I'm so brave. All right, this is what we're going to be serving with the dish. Chef, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and this week we have been in the kitchen at Cafe Tempo on the campus of Johnson County Community College preparing shepherd's pie, soda bread, and Bailey's cheesecake. To taste this creation of executive chef Tim Johnson, we have invited the green man himself.
Just don't call me the Jolly Green Giant.
I won't call you the Jolly Green. Jay Antle, who is the executive director of the Center for Sustainability on the campus here at Johnson County Community College. Thank you for all your work on behalf of sustainability in our educational institution and community. And now, Jay, it is your task to taste the creation of Chef. Chef, please tell us what we are about to have.
Well, today, Jay, you're going to be able to delight in my world-famous lamb shepherd pie with Irish soda bread and Bailey's Irish cream cheesecake.
glad I have some green in my tie.
Yes, you do.
Enjoy. All right.
You do.
Okay, this looks lovely and smells.
See?
Smells lovely.
And one for me for just watching you. This is my reward. So the first thing you did was you looked at it and you were excited about what you saw, and then the second thing you did was smell, because food is about all of our senses. Oh, I get cheesecake too. I have been good. All right, we're going to ask you to taste.
Okay.
You know what I love about this dish is that it was originally considered peasants' food. It was what the cook did with leftovers from probably Sunday supper. Isn't that amazing?
It's lovely.
You know.
And lamb is good in almost everything, but it's really good in this. And you know, one of the as we're sort of tying together what we do here at the college, is the notion of efficiency. You know, this is a case of taking efficiency in terms of food use, making it an art form. Taking it, you say that what might have been the leftover lamb, and putting it all together in a way which is very satisfying and downright yummy.
Downright yummy. Soda bread is also being served with this, and to lighten it up, because this is a pretty rich dish, he took some baby spinach and just made a light vinaigrette, and so it cleanses your palate between bites. The other piece is, I will tell you, I've never had Irish soda bread before. Didn't realize it had a bit of sweet. So you've got the richness of the shepherd's pie, you've got the fresh, crisp, clean flavors of your spinach, and then you've got the sweetness from the soda bread. Here's the other piece. The vegetables are still fresh. You put them in at the last minute so they wouldn't be cooked to death.
We wouldn't have mushy peas.
There's no mushy anything in here. Now I think you should just take peas, carrots, a little bit of onions. I'm going to tell you, let's take one bite of this. You know, the intern, and it's all about learning on this campus.
It is. Learning comes first, Johnson County Community College. Dessert comes second.
Well, this dessert was made by one of your interns, one of your students in the culinary program, so we could take a taste of it. Again, more of that Bailey's Irish cream cheesecake.
It's very nice. And what do we have on the... It's kind of a garnish, a little sauce on the side.
Well, the chef in training, did two things. She used white chocolate and melted it, and then drizzled it in a pattern, of course, because we're creative, and then took some caramel sauce and decorated the plate with that. The decoration, of course, then becomes part of what you enjoy while you're eating your dessert.
Right, and more of that playfulness.
And flavor. Look at that combination. Tell me a little bit about what you do here at the college.
Mostly I just eat the food that Tim Johnson makes. Well, my job here at the college is to try to encourage and coordinate the various sustainability activities here on campus. And so we're talking about things like energy efficiency, talking about our campus farm, talking about trying to find ways to get students more involved in environmental activities, to understand the consequences of their decisions, and new programs like solar technology, energy auditing. I'm involved in helping to get all those things going.
So you're really training this generation of students to not only live a life that's sustainable, but you're teaching them how to pursue careers, that will help promote sustainability. We appreciate that work. I also want to talk about your farm.
Yes, the food matters, yes, and where your food comes from matters.
And so we have a farm here on the campus, and Chef tells me that we're going to be harvesting right from the farm and bringing it in and cooking with that product right here at school.
That's right, both in the dining services and also in our culinary arts program. And our culinary arts program has really tried to emphasize local foods over the course of the last couple of years. And so now we're going to be able to do that right here on campus. We're also going to have a composting system that's powered by solar panels. And so we will take our organic waste, we will compost it, and it will enrich the soil, which then will allow us to have better crops and thus more fun stuff fresh stuff for Chef Tim to work with.
We've got to keep Chef busy,
That's right.
Know that.
Because if she's not busy, then...
We've got trouble.
And also we're not getting great stuff like this, and so we must keep him busy.
But that's wonderful, and it's wonderful training for us, and I know that training and information is available to the community at large. We thank you very much for the work you're doing on the campus and for taking time out from your very hectic schedule to be our taster.
Yes, well, it is a real burden on me to actually come and have high-quality shepherd's pie and cheesecake. So.
You're holding up admirably. Thank you.
Thank you.